On this day, 30th May 1967, Biafra was declared a free state from Nigeria. At this time in our history as a people, a dark cloud covered the land of the rising sun. A war of attrition and genocide was brought upon us. Men, women, and children gave their lives to defend our land. Today we remember their sacrifice. Today we lit candle lights to uphold the light of our freedom, because nothing can stop the movement of the people determined to be free.
This message is proudly endorsed by the Facto Customary Government of Biafra.
Good evening, viewers. You're welcome back again. This is BVI Channel 1, and we are live on the program Biafra Discuss, still on 30th May, the Biafra Day. And it's a pleasure to have the people, the officers of Biafra de facto customary government, or you might call it de facto customary government of Biafra, today joining me virtually. And on this segment, we are going to be hearing the veterans recount their experience during that genocidal war that lasted for 3 years. So it started as the Biafra de facto customary government principal officers demanded and asked that the voice of these living legends should be heard. And this is their story as they told it to the Biafran people. I'll be right back.
Festus Cyprian Oyoka Madweke from Oka in Anambra State. I happens to be, by the grace of God, I happens to be the present commander of the War Veterans Anambra State. I want to remember when I was caught and buried in the trench in the year 1968. I happened to be a special trained soldier manning the Brownie, the anti-aircraft that was used in the war. I want to tell you that during the war, the body that I'm using today was not the body that I was born with. From here, when the Vandals were chasing the particular weapon that attacks the air and the level, I was specially trained for it. Eventually, by 1968, the Nigerian Vandals were especially concerned about destroying that particular weapon, that anti-aircraft. It was very serious, very tedious, very continuous, of complete 10 days of war. They chased me. That plane came and they destroyed that particular weapon that I was using. I was buried alive. This particular skin that I'm using now is not the particular skin that body that I came to the world with. From here, was buried in the ground. From here, was uprooted. From here, peeled out from the hospital. From here, with the head. It was alarming that the young man has died. But the moment I heard the voice of my people for complete 5 hours about the battle, within the 5 hours, the people, my people, rescued me. They came back by chasing out the Vandals. They were shouting, oh, look at Ajangwa. Ajangwa is dead. In Igbo language. When I heard their language, I heard their voice, I told them that I was not dead. I was not dead though. They came and rescued me. Where they are pulling me out of the trench, my body, all my body peeled to the ground.
My name is Isaac Akabo, alias Mwawo. During the war, I fought with Atuzie. I fought with Lieutenant Colonel Nebo from Udi. And then Megegu, and Lieutenant Colonel Ifenso from Agule. In fact, my experience during the war was terrible. Why? Because in Abakna sector, this is where we find ourselves. In fact, God is with us. Otherwise, we can't come out from that really battle. Then after that, that is where Murtala Mohammed was commanded by them. Then later, we went over to Iyenu stroke Uguma Sike, where I sustained this injury. They fired me with 107 heavy artillery. It was there I lost my back man. Banaki from Omaye. This is the wound. And here too, my hands. It was there Nebo lost 2 of his fingers.
My names are Samuel Okoye-Nwosu. Let me cut it short. During the war, I joined the Biafran army under the leadership of Colonel Okafor, the leader of 10 battalions in the Biafra. Under him, he signed a pass for me. We will pass Biafra to see my sister at Nobi. Since Nobi after the conscription, we wouldn't Nobi. Palambada Newi. Alone and Newi, after getting to Newi, we were carried from Newi to different sectors. They took me and others to Olo and Inye in Enugu State. At Olo and Inye, we were given our rifles. Unfortunately, Oye deploy me na one line. Oye Nise as Nigerian army started shelling our end. Shell sound by our side, boom, boom, boom. And it was just on the body of the Oye Nisa. Shell carried him up and scattered the body. He shouted, "Ewo, ewo, ewo." When they stopped, I crawled to where his body was lying. He was shaking his 2 hands and his 2 legs. From there, I came back to my position. I decided that night that I must fight for Biafra. Colonel Aganya invited our commander, Ojukwu, to our camp. He spoke to us about Vaseline. He brought out a bottle of Vaseline. So we should understand that this is the least product from crude oil that is being packaged out and they send back to us Vaseline to rub. Honestly, all of us cried. But notwithstanding, Hotel Zaka, Colonel Aganya came to where we are at Agolo boys came there and give a sign that the war has ended. Most of us cried. If the war would end today, what is our result? But thank God so much that the result that we are alive. We are alive today. Most of us that are here is just by the grace of God.
Iwe meni njiwe baba mi wuna mkpali kalisili iwe awusa na-eme anyị wee nọkọtara ntutu m taa wee shia na onye zọrọ na nna emere ajọ iwe finege ntị na mma ejezo na nna m egbuo m na ewu njewe ọ bụ na nje nata mma na nwoke na-abụ anwụ owu nwara anwụ na abụ wee baa amị ruo ntutu m taa wee baa amị wee jee n'ụwa ogodo na ya maazị ejekọcha sektọ ebe dị iche iche ma nkọwa ya bachi ejiri mana anyị ji emedemecheche Chineke mee iwe njiri ndụ wee nata Biafra nwa na onwe ya chi na ya egbu within 1 hour ọgwụ wee baa na arọ na abụọ na-abata na nke ịtọ na chi anyị sokwa na wee je nyawa ọgụ o boro anyị ụzọ kpeela anyị azụ egbumretere ndị otu anyị mana nkebe gwụkwuru agwụ anyị nụrụ ọgụ ka nwoke anyị pere mpe n'aka mana anyị nụrụ ọgụ chukwuso anyị wee nụnyawa ọgụ anyị wee nụcha anyị wee nọrọ ndụ luo.
On this day, 30th May 1967, Biafra was declared a free state from Nigeria. At this time in our history as a people, a dark cloud covered the land of the rising sun. A war of attrition and genocide was brought upon us. Men, women, and children gave their lives to defend our land. Today we remember their sacrifice. Today we lit candle lights to uphold the light of our freedom, because nothing can stop the movement of the people determined to be free.
This message is proudly endorsed by the Facto Customary Government of Biafra.
Of the veterans that spoke in the memory of their experience during that genocidal war. There is another veteran who spoke what you need to hear about, because he touched about the real deal of what actually happened and in the contemporary going forward, the experience in Nigeria. Everyone needs to hear this one. I'll be right back.
My name is Raymond Mwokike from Enugu, Njikoka local government area of Anambra State. I grew up having lofty ideas about my country, Nigeria. But lo and behold, in 1968, I got a shock of my life when I was conscripted at the age of 17 into the armed forces of Biafra. So I had no choice than to go and serve, specifically in the Biafran Air Force. It was the training didn't take much long time before I went into action. But lo and behold, in under 6 months of being in Biafran Air Force, I was captured and sent into the war front as a soldier, fighting combatant soldier, specifically in Uzakoli sector after Maya. It was a harrowing experience. So it was only God that saved my life, because at a stage we were cut off by the enemy lines. And by special grace of God, I managed to escape. And throughout that time, when I escaped, I went into hiding at a place they call Uruala in Imo State, present-day Imo State. And but by the time I went into hiding, I had already spent 1 year fighting for Biafra. And by the early 1970, the war was over. So I came back, grateful to God that I was alive. One of the major things that I can't forget is the rate of deaths during the Biafran War. Young people, future hopes of any country, were dying like no man's business. The younger children who were not fighting were also dying because of hunger. And to crown it all, after the Civil War, the then federal government, under the leadership of Yakubu Gowon, vouched that there was no victor, no vanquished. And that gave a lot of us hope that things were going to, be better. And for us in Biafra to be properly reintegrated into the Nigerian nation. But lo and behold, that was the beginning of the woes of the Biafran people. The 3 R's, the policy of reconstruction, rehabilitation, and reintegration, none was implemented. As a matter of fact, my home in Enugu was razed to the floor. There was no trace of a house in that place. All the boundary walls, the gate, the main building, they were all on the ground. To the extent that my parents and 9 siblings, 11 of us, stayed in one room the whole of 1970 in my uncle's place. And I can't forget that experience. 11 people staying in a room. We hoped and hoped that the Nigerian government will come forward with the trials to rehabilitate our home so that we get back. Lo and behold, after 1 full year, I thank God that the Almighty God has favored the Igbo people and nay, all Biafrans with an undying spirit. And that has sustained us till now. One of the memories I would like to keep alive in my mind is the memory of trying to remember all the dead people, all the people, even on both sides, without sentiments, on the Biafran side, on the Nigerian side, because it appeared that the deaths, the sacrifices by way of losing lives did not yield any dividend, didn't yield any food, because Nigeria learned nothing from that episode. Rather, things have continued to degenerate. It's a terrible experience. And I guess that is the reason why, despite all the hardships people are going through now, people have not taken to war as a way out, because the one we did not bear any fruits. I thank God too that the Biafran nation had continued to sustain May 30th as a day of remembrance for all the foreign heroes. And it is a way of showing gratitude to those people who came, who laid their lives to defend the cause of the Biafran nation. And I think it's on record that the Biafrans were pushed into the war. It wasn't their intention to fight the Nigerian nation. But we had no option. After the genocide in the north and all the killings and all the subjugation of the Biafran people, they had no choice but to fight for self-survival. And I think, by the grace of God, that Biafran nation will still come up one day, by the grace of God.
On this day, 30th May 1967, Biafra was declared a free state from Nigeria. At this time in our history as a people, a dark cloud covered the land of the rising sun. A war of attrition and genocide was brought upon us. Men, women, and children gave their lives to defend our land. Today we remember their sacrifice. Today we lit candle lights to uphold the light of our freedom, because nothing can stop the movement of the people determined to be free.
This message is proudly endorsed by the Facto Customary Government of Biafra.
That's the voices of our living heroes, the Biafran living heroes. And I'm about to bring in the principal officers of the de facto customary government of the Biafran people. They're already seated virtually joining me, but let me quickly, in just a minute or two, bring about the tribute of a man who came all the way from the US to Biafran land just to impact on the lives of the Biafran people. And all thanks to the initiative and inspiration of the Biafran de facto customary government and the encouragement, and also the effort of Dr. Raf Ike, who brought about an outreach, medical outreach for these Biafran heroes. Just a quick one. I'll be right back.
Well, thank you, Chinedu. It's an honor to be in this midst of these gentlemen. My father was one of them. I'm a product of Nigerian Biafran War. My mom and my dad met my parents in Nigeria Civil War. So I'm outcome of that. So it's an honor. We're supposed to honor our people, our heroes. They are our heroes. Because if they're wearing our heroes, we won't be here. Even though they are neglected. But to me, today, in 2 years I've been trying to do this. I missed the first time, but this time I said I must show up. So I'm glad, and I thank God that I met some of these men, and I thank God for their lives. We have to honor them. Whatever you can do, get information, honor them. The little I can do, that's what I did today. I have opportunity to see them and visit them and celebrate with them and enjoy with them while they are having a meeting. So may God bless our heroes. May God bless Biafra. I will remember Biafra till my dying day. When I come in next world, I will be a Biafra man. It is very important for me because a lot of our people who live in abroad don't understand. It's not about money. What we did today is not about money. It's just giving them your knowledge, your gift. All of us have one gift or the other. Just use your gift. Don't think it's all about money. Some of us does not have money, but that means little knowledge we have. We try to imply it to our people, show them love, give them information, because information is power. One who have information control the world. So what you need, whatever information you have that can help these gentlemen till their dying day, they are not going to live long anymore. But while they were our heroes, let's honor them. It's unfortunate that Nigeria don't understand what heroes are. Because if Nigeria understand what heroes are, these men should not beg for anything. Everything is supposed to be handed to them. But unfortunately, Nigeria doesn't, if they don't even teach history in Nigeria. But for me, they are my heroes. My dad is my hero because he's one of them.
On this day, 30th May 1967, Biafra was declared a free state from Nigeria. At this time in our history as a people, a dark cloud covered the land of the rising sun. A war of attrition and genocide was brought upon us. Men, women, and children gave their lives to defend our land. Today we remember their sacrifice. Today we lit candle lights to uphold the light of our freedom, because nothing can stop the movement of the people determined to be free.
This message is proudly endorsed by de facto customary government of Biafra.
That's it. That is the true spirit of Biafra. And I have our brother Dr. Rav Ike to thank for this gesture. I wish the Biafran people would emulate this very. There is no better way to celebrate these living heroes, these living legends who gave their all. Some of them are carrying the wounds and the pain of the war, the scars of the war. All they could ask of you is for you to reach out to them. And that's exactly what he did with that medical outreach. And joining me visually are the principal officers of the Biafra de facto customary government, or de facto customary government of Biafra. They are seated there with me, and I have them to introduce themselves one after the other as we continue in this program to, have a refresh of our mind what Biafra truly is and why the leaders in the southeast, particularly the Igbo part of Biafra, had been shying away from this day, 30th May. Gentlemen, it's my pleasure to have you guys on the program tonight. You can unmute yourself and come on. For those of you who are coming on the video or on the audio, you can unmute yourself and introduce yourselves one after the other. Or should I begin with Ndubisi and Enugu? Is he there? I think I have him there.
Yes, let me just make myself known. My name is Izuchukwu Okole. I'm from Nnewi, reside in New York City, and most people know me as Mbadike, the mobilization officer for Biafran de facto customary government, resident of New York. Thank you.
Thank you very much, my big brother Mbadike. Any other person there making himself introduced so that we proceed? You can unmute yourself.
Yes,
or you can.
Greetings from here, from London.
Okay. Who is speaking, please?
Is speaking is Dr. Mika Okiano.
Okay, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Dr. Mika Okiano, former Chancellor of BDFCG. My greetings to our veterans. Happy anniversary day to everyone, to our friends, Biafran citizens, all our well-wishers. It's a great day for us, and as you can see, it's time we start to define issues. There are days or day for celebration, and there are days for sorrow. Today is a day of celebration, as it was 57 years ago. So happy anniversary to everyone.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. I don't know if there is any other person who wants to make himself introduced so that we get down to the business of the day very briefly. Okay, to Mbadike, sir, while we wait for the rest to make their introduction, perhaps when they are back seated. All right, what does today mean to you? I mean, the Biafra Day. Some may say, oh, it shouldn't be called Memorial Day. It's not something of the past. It's still in the present. So what is 30th of May to you?
Yes, as I have said before, I will say happy Memorial Days for our people who recognize the people that died for us to be where we are today. Even in America that we are, their Memorial Day was last week. And everybody observed it. All the federal and state parastatals was closed for people to celebrate their people that fought for them to be alive. But in our own case, it's a memorable day for me because I was born during that war, in that beginning of the war in '67. So when this issue comes up, it's like a trauma to me. I didn't know anything at the time, but saying it alone, it makes me feel like I was in the battlefield when all these things was going on. That's why when the issue comes up and you see the way our people are dabbling about it, and some of our politicians, they get to wonder, did these people really, Biafrans, that people died for them to live and be in the political arena today? because this is supposed to be a special day for us. But you find out that most of these people that we call elites in Biafra land, they're not really elites, because elite is the people that represent their people. And when you see the way they've been daggling, trying to make sure that the day wasn't successfully observed, but it's we that are remembering our dead heroes that will make it to be a things that will be remembered. If I can make a reference, what is going on in the world today, you look at the Palestinian issues, you look at what is going on in Ukraine, and you see how these people are coming together. Even if they are losing, they're coming together to protect and preserve what that makes them to be a nation, to be a people. But in our own case, but since we've been doing it, from inception of indigenous people movement, I think it's getting more momentum every day. Because when you look at the social media today, you find out that most of the people that don't want to observe this 30th May, it will come to a day that they will be the people that will be championing it. And the reason it was a memorable day for me is because that taking a reference and say, hey, I was born during the I representing our network. Thanks once again from New York.
All right, thank you very much, my brother Mbadike, for that very submission. And I don't know if Udowele, our chancellor, the chancellor of the Biafra Customary de facto government, or Biafra de facto customary government, the chancellor is right here with us. You can make yourself introduced and give us your own remark, what today means to you. Over to you, Mazi Udowele. I think we're having network issues there. I think we are connected back again. Okay, Udowele, we are on you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, go on.
All right. Good evening, fellow Biafrans and Dialoguers of Faith. My name is Anselm Nebuchudor. I'm from Abatete, a member province in Biafra land. I am serving the people of Biafra in the capacity as the Chancellor, interim Chancellor of the Biafra de facto customary government, by virtue of the trust given to me by the members of
I think you are still having hitches with network connection, but we hope to have them back reconnected again. We have to endure the horrible network situation in Nigeria as we experience it today. But nevertheless, we must soldier on. Okay, we are still on the 30th day of May, where we remember our dead, where we remember those who gave their all that we might live, those who fought, died, that we may have a place we call Biafra land today. So it's a memorial day for the Biafran people. And like we are talking about the reason the Nigerian system, the Nigerian government, have since after that war failed to reintegrate the Biafran people in their policies, in their politics, in their economy, and the rest of them. Everything has continued to be strangulation. After that genocidal war and the war of attrition, other front lines of war were opened. Economic war, political war, social war, even spiritual war against the Biafran people up to today. And that's why the agitation continued to, resonate among the young Biafrans who never saw that war. All right. So today being the Memorial Day, the Biafran people are all coming together to celebrate and to pay respect to their fallen heroes, their fathers, their mothers, their brothers, their sisters, their uncles, who gave their life that we may have a place we call home today. Because that war of attrition is targeted, perhaps, to exterminate the Biafran people. But as the case might be, they survived, they revived themselves, and they are bounced back, doing well for themselves. But the situation have not changed in Nigeria. Well, we'll try to reconnect back again to our panel of discussants, the Biafran de facto customary government. I think we have Mbadiko already joined us. We hope the rest of others will join later on. Okay, more of them are joining. We'll wait for Udowele to join. I think Udowele just entered right now, so that we'll have his own opinion to what we're talking about today. Then we'll continue with our business of the day. Udowele, are you there? Hello, Udowele. Can you hear me? You can unmute yourself.
I can hear you.
All right, go on. Go on with what we were saying before the network cut us off.
All right. As I was saying, we are not only going to remember those who died that we may live. There are living heroes who had different types of wounds, and there are those who managed to survive without physical wound, but they are still having the emotional wounds, which is the mental situation of what they witnessed during the war. Therefore, we have to give them that respect. That it is not an easy one for any. Therefore, we shall do all we can within our capacity to make sure that what they fought for is never in vain, that what they been politicized, that what they fought for should not be used as a tool for mockery. We shall defend this with every sense of humor and with every power in our disposal. Here in the Biafra de facto custom conference, who identifies with our similar understanding to what we are facing today in Nigeria, to what has happened to us before in the 60s, to shield their sword, let's come together and make sure that we restore this hope that our fathers left for us. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Udo, for that your submission. I will have one other person there that have not, well, two other persons that have not made their submission, so that we now dig into why the government of the East, to start with, no, the one of the Nigerian government had never thought it wise to integrate Biafran people into their deeds. Now, down to the Southeast, why is it that they are shying away from acknowledging and also identifying 30th May as a day that should be set aside for the Biafran veterans or the Biafran heroes? Okay, let me quickly take your commentaries. Is it Ndubisi? You've not made your commentaries. I think Dr. Kado had made some commentaries. If you are there, you can make your commentaries before we move on.
No, I have not.
All right, okay. Go on, sir. Go on, sir.
Yeah, thank you, please. I just introduced myself earlier, just to make my comment because time is not in my favor. I may be going in for something. So permit me, I will take a few of your time, but you're free to stop me anytime you want. The point is that what we are celebrating today is Republic of Biafra Declaration Day. There has been a lot of confusion amongst us, the younger generation, I may say, although I witnessed the Biafran Republican era too, the first Biafran Republican era. But it's time also to start defining issues. It's very, we may continue.
Network. I think network is affecting us. You can speak up a little bit, sir.
Festive on the 30th of May, 1967. It was a great day for us. I knew in the elementary school where we were,
The network is still really very bad. Go on, sir. I think
it's that it should be like that. It should be a very festive day, as it was 57. There is good and bad. There's a sober moment and festive moment in life. That notwithstanding, it will be also an occasion to pay tribute to our heroes. Issues. Because why it is important is that we have to understand that when Biafra was then we entered into a difficult moment. So from the day it was declared, it was a very joyful moment, a new dawn, a new era for all the citizens of Biafra. And we should bear that in mind. And then, being that, today should be a day to recall and to Biafra, the heritage and patrimony. And a joyous moment also. Like as Biafra came into the Committee of Nations of the World. You don't have to use it anyhow. What I mean, nations of the world, because it was a nation that was recognized by. For that, it automatically, as of now, I'm speaking with you, is recognized to be one of the members of the Committee of the World, Committee of Nations of the World. And then
honestly,
when we make reference to Consultative Assembly of the Eastern Nigeria, impulsive act or careless action, it was a deliberation, carried on by the Consultative Assembly of Eastern Nigeria, made of illustrious citizens of the then Eastern Nigeria and the traditional rulers of the region. So it was a very, very solemn occasion, for it has to be celebrated. We know about the political landmarks The flag of Biafra is still standing high, horizontal tricolor of red, black, and green, charged with a golden rising sun over a golden bar, which has a symbolic meaning that it shall never cease. The national anthem is very symbolic, land of the rising sun. We know maybe not everyone knows the meaning of that anthem and then how it came about. Why it was backed up with a classical music symphony on that tune. But that would be, maybe I advise people to read most of the press release we have brought out today. The motto is peace, unity, and freedom. These are important political landmarks that we have to celebrate today because it may be easy for us to be saying all this. It is not easy in the formation of a nation.
Yeah.
And we have to bear in mind that our nation Biafra underwent all these processes. And then in battle, it was the first nation in the world, not in Africa. It was the first nation in the world to put into effect the right of self-determination after it was adopted by the United Nations in 1945. It wasn't an easy task. African Union of the present day that adopted this right of self-determination in 1981. So Biafra was the first nation of the world that take this that's
We're still having issues with network.
yeah, I know.
Continue.
Due to trials of strength, all these things are not known. But that's the reason why what we're doing. Determination was first on the but that Biafra was not for that. Africa, all from 1960 to 1963. But the issue wasn't of Biafran nature. There was shifting powers and territorial action that took her and we were fortunate that and there wasn't any meddling of the colonial as black Africans, because there were
Honestly, this network is really dragging and distracting the program. But let's, try and make it work by just trying to summarize, if we can, because we'll have all day. Hello, sir. Network is really very bad. We are yet to get it on with. It's still very bad. We can barely hear you. All right, I think at this point we'll find an alternative to get around this very discussion, because the information coming from the parliament is really essential for the Biafran people. It's very, very crucial for the Biafran people, especially on this day that we are remembering our heroes. Okay, I beg to relieve this call and try another means to bring them in on the program, so that we will be able to have a healthy conversation with very little distraction. So we hope that we'll have them all back again on this place to join the program. All right. Now, this program is being brought to you and sponsored or powered by Biafra de facto customary government. It's important we understand the importance of today, 30th May, for the Biafran people across the world. It's really very important we understand this very tax. And I believe some of you who have been following our activities, I hope you actually observed today. In what way have you observed today? In what way do you pay tribute? You can also drop your tribute by a commentary on the comment section. And let's continue from there, because obviously network has blanketed us from making a live conversation with you, the Biafrans who are watching across the globe, and with our discussant as well, who tried to join us virtually. So sorry about that very situation. We've been working on it since morning, but it seems that the unrelenting forces of the Nigerian system have continued to. Okay, I think we have Dr. Kado right here with me. I think he has joined from the phone line. Hello, Doctor.
Hello, yes, please. So thank you very much for having me back. So it's like work issues. I know that we have to get it. That's part of it. So what I actually saying is that we remember that the war against Biafra was declared by Nigeria on the 6th of July 1967. It was a few months after that events started to turn southern. So as of 30th of May, it was festive. It was a new turn of life in us. You need to know the mood in Biafra land as of this period that day. So it was after when this war was declared that there started to be trepidations. So, and then the point is that it was a very big challenge
for Biafra to defend herself. Biafra had to defend herself. Biafra didn't declare any war against Nigeria. It's important to bear that in mind. We needed to defend ourselves. And we were quite aware that the whole thing was being orchestrated by colonial and post-colonial cohorts. Biafran elites were quite aware of that. But the unfortunate thing is that as time went on, the whole thing turned out to be a tragedy of all relevance. And then comes the issue of this, the one that is so much embedded in our minds. Because anytime we talk of Biafran Day, it becomes, what we understand is sober day. There were joyful days too. So I think it's time we start to define most of these issues and then try to give respect respectively to each and collectively also for our common good. So this was it. Unfortunately, the war being backed by world powers, Great Britain, Soviet Union as of that time. Remember, Soviet Union has about 7 to 10 nations now, all combined to fight Biafra. During the Brezhnev time, that was a citizen of Ukraine. Brezhnev, that was the head of Kremlin, as of that time was Ukraine. As we know today, Ukraine is a country of its own in Europe. But as of then, it was in the Soviet Union. So you can see, this was how we tested the test of liberty of Finland. When many of us hear that we are using the Symphony of Finlandia, that's of Jan Sibelius, as the background of our national anthem. That was how it came about.
Yeah.
Because Finland is the only country that has been able to defeat Russia in her history. No country has ever defeated Russia. It's only Finland that was able. And then our allies, having seen the forces that are against us, and with all the determinations we have, they adopted the Finlandia Symphony, classical music, as the background of our anthem. That was where, when they first sing our national anthem, that was the origin. So this is it. And then our human tragedy, all this then started when all these superpowers backed Nigeria. And remember that their presence is still in Nigeria today. For many of you that have been in Bonny Island, one of their war bounties was Bonny Island. If you go to Bonny Island, there's a Russian colony, USSR colony there. There's a British colony where they operate with the Nova territory. So it was a complex issue that we need time, and then we need to be well informed. If not, we muzzle issues and continue to make the same mistake that this present generation tend to be making. It's time that we learn from the legacies, heritage, and patrimony that was left to us by our elders. It's very, very important.
Exactly.
So if I may continue, if you may allow me, during my time, let me say a little more. Then if you have time, if you don't have time, you...
Go ahead.
So the issue is that why are we in the Committee of Nations? Remember the first head of state of the Republic of Biafra, Late General Odile Chukwuemeka addressed the OAU members, Organization of African Union members, meaning the 53 as of them, if I'm not mistaken, members of 53 countries of the OAU as of that time. he addressed them in August 5th, 1968. And they made it clear that the reason for us to have our own country, self-determination, was that of survival, that we were driven out from Nigeria. We went to our homeland and they pursued us inside our homeland, so that there wasn't anything. After all, we were more Nigerians than others. So it was made clear. And then many images of genocidal crime against against us, because I was of that age most of the time. I had experience of Ashoka too, so when we're saying it. So most of those things were the aftermath of all these things. So they used starvation as a weapon of war against most of us, and barely few of us, to the glory of God, succeeded and were able to make it. Many didn't. So as you can see, with all the peaceful stance of Biafra, we stood out as a sacrificial lamb for humanitarianism. And then the people of goodwill and the world didn't stand behind over this. Fortunately for us, we had a Swiss publicity agency known as Mark Press, who was able, the duty Mark Press was doing. Mark Press knew that there was going to be cover-up, that they want to eliminate us, cover up the story, which many of us witnessed. As you can see, when we talk about there's no history of Biafra in the Nigerian schools, so they stopped teaching history. It was a clear strategy to cover up. So Mark Press knew that was a strategy as of that. So what Mark Press was doing, all the strategy of Mark Press was that Mark Press will come to Europe, choose non-sensitive tabloids or agencies, press agencies, pay for their distance, tell them, come into this nation and see for yourself. You see and report. So that was what Mark Press, the Swiss publicity agency, did. And that was, if we are here today talking, that was what saved most of our life. So this gave the world press the opportunity to come into Africa to see what we're into Biafra, to see what was going on. And remember, as I said, it's our day, and it's a day of tribute to our heroes. Of course, the two are inseparable, but I was trying to make that definition for clarity's sake.
Exactly. It's very important.
The first matter of Biafra, we may say in this case of humanity, from the international arena, Bruce Merrill, who martyred for Biafra on the 29th of May 1968 in front of the UN headquarters in New York because of the indifference over the suffering of the Biafran people. So many important personalities and writers, academicians, they didn't keep silent. For many of us that have heard about Mercy Sans Frontier, that's Mr. Bernard Kouchner, who later became the French foreign minister during the Kosovo War. He was an officer, staff of the International Red Cross. Seeing the indifferent attitude and then the complot against the people that led him to resign as a staff. The same thing as Daniel Jacobs, who was the head of UNICEF in the UN. Seeing the maltreatment given to the Biafran children, that made him to resign and write a book, The Brutality of Nations. This book he wrote led to many of the international humanitarian agencies we have, both in UN today. why are we mentioning this? These are the heritage and patrimonies of Biafra.
Okay.
A lot of them that we must have to celebrate today, and then still pay allegiance to our heroes and heroes. So my fellow comrades and then good people of the world and good listeners, Biafra is a thing, a special blessing to us. And I think so far as we can be able to understand this, we shall know that we are not going back from it, no matter what it takes.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much, Dr. Okado, for that very insightful and thorough justice to history, as you put it straight. Let's hear quickly from Udowele. Then we also have Badike, who joined us again, and also we have Ndubisi, and finally the Chancellor, Biafra, or de facto customary government of Biafra. All right. Udowele, my brother, you can unmute yourself. Let's hear your own words for today as Biafra people celebrate 30th May. You can unmute yourself if you're there. Okay, I think he can't hear me. Okay, Udowele.
I can hear you.
Go on.
I can hear you, my brother. Madi Chinedu, I greet you.
Thank
you
you
so much for this wonderful platform that you bring for us to gather and celebrate and to remember our heroes. My own opinion and my idea is this, that may all the soul of our heroes rest in peace.
Amen.
In Jesus' name.
Amen.
So the only thing I learned from our great man, Dr. Akado, is because before I don't know that Ukraine hand is among what happened to Biafrans before the Soviet Union. But now what they did to Biafra is coming to them. So they are fighting each other. That is why it's not good to do evil to people or shed innocent blood. So that is what is coming to them is consequences. What they did to Biafra, that is what is coming to them. Many of them have died. So, and what again I want to put out is, we the Biafrans, we have to learn a lot of things with what is going on in the world. Whenever we are having Remembrance Day, we have to know that it's just to remember and celebrate, not to be killing our people, not to destroying properties. This is the day that everybody have to move or celebrate and enjoy. Say that God, thank you for making us those people that die, because without them not to die, we all of us, maybe they will kill all of us. But because of some of them die to save us, maybe for now, many of us will not be there. We will be answering Hausa, Fulani, or Yoruba people. But because of them, that is why we are alive today. And we're supposed to celebrate it. We are not supposed to be coming to be killing people because of the death of men. That is what baffles me. Today, I received information that have killed a lot of people in some places southeast, because in Europe here, where I'm living, and they celebrate first of May. First of May, some people open shops, some people go out to celebrate, some people they are enjoying themselves, some people do. Leave people to do whatever they want to do, not to kill them, because they have killed them in 1967. Now you are killing them again, forcing them to do what they don't want to do. We're supposed to leave them to remain, to be as God create them, not to kill them, because more you kill them, more problem. The same thing that is happening to Ukraine is what is going on, will be happen to your family, happen to you, because we already shed innocent blood. So what I will advise our people is, This 30th of May, we have to learn a lot. People have died in 1967. A lot of families have wiped out. A lot of family, their leg cannot walk. They have cut off their leg. Some of them, they're in a very big mess. So we have to think of those people. We don't need to be coming to stop people not to do what they're doing. We have to remember all those things. So, my brother, that's where I will stop. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, my brother Udo Wininya. Thank you so much for that, your submission there. Nubis, if you are there, you can make your submission very quickly because we are going round to wrap it up.
All right, children, good evening to everybody here and greetings to Biafra all over the world. You know, as you know, I'm busy calling from Oka here. You know, I want to appreciate everybody who has made sacrifice, who has donated one thing or the other to ensure that today is peaceful, that today we celebrate the declaration of the Biafran state, 1967, May 30th, precisely 1967. So today is Remembrance Day. At the same time, we are using this opportunity to mourn all those people who paid the supreme price, fighting that we may be free today. So today, we want to ask God to find a place and receive their gentle souls. My own contribution is that those of us in Nigeria, in Igbo land, in Biafra land, should use today to ask ourselves some very critical questions. What does Biafra represent? What do we want out of Nigeria? Are we enjoying Nigeria today? If no, what exactly do we want to go and how do we want to do it? So today is a day of introspection. Today is a day of getting people together and engaging them on meaningful discussion that will take us somewhere. Now the question is, what does the name Biafra represent? Biafra represents freedom, justice, good governance, equity, fairness, and justice. Are we enjoying Nigeria today? No, is answer. No, because since after the Civil War, which ended in the year 1970, Nigeria has been living in deceitful life. Nigeria has been forging all kinds of documents to make the whole transaction look clean. Nigeria has been hiding and dodging the evil they committed during the war. One of them is excluding anything called the Biafran War, discussing it among our school children. Nobody discussed it, nobody talked about it. But the fact remains that Biafra is part of our history. Both Nigeria is part of Nigerian history and is part of those of us in Biafran space. So that historical event must be discussed. I say must be discussed, whether you like the brand name called Biafra or not. That event should be discussed. And that is what most of our political elites are hiding or dodging, directly or indirectly, because they believe that once they identify with the brand Biafra, they will cease from benefiting from the largesse coming from the Nigerian state. They believe that the name Biafra is associated with war, and that whoever that is promoting it, of course, is trying to wipe out people's emotion. So to them, they believe that the best answer is to keep it in cooler. But for how long would you do that? So my simple recommendation to those in authority is that they should stop deceiving themselves and should stop running away from the obvious, from the truth, which is that Biafra is a historical event, that Biafra existed. Even when you don't support Biafra being a country of its own, even when you are proponent of one Nigeria, but recognize the fact that there was a country called Biafra. Having said that, today being 30, those in authority should seize the opportunity to declare 30th, every 30th as a public holiday. That is to save their face. Because what happened today is a great and big embarrassment on every one of them. Be you a councillor, or state house of assembly, or federal house of representatives, governor inclusive, they are all alienated today. People who decided to stay at home. No, some people say it is because of threat. If there is security, will anybody threaten anybody? I heard some military men were killed in Aba today. If we have our gallant soldiers, would anybody come out and kill anybody going free? No, nobody will do that. So my advice is that the governor of Eastern Nigeria, perhaps South, those who believe that there was a country called Biafra, should come together and recognize that historical fact by declaring today public holidays. That is irreducible minimum of what they can do. Whether they are for or against, they have to do it, because the voice of the people is the voice of God, and the power of the people is greater than those few people in government, and that has been proven today. Thank you, Chinedu.
Thank you, Ndubisi. Thank you, Ndubisi, for that very submission. Let me quickly go to, I don't know if Badike has just one or two to chip in, because we have less than 2 minutes to wrap up for tonight.
Yes, that's no problem. It's Mazi Okoli again, Mbadike. It's not much to say, just to let tell our people that it's time we need to brace up and follow the trend of what is going in African nations today, especially in West Africa. You know, you can't sit in your house and you're expecting undoable to be done. It's about time we need to start to sit back and use our tongue and count our teeth, especially the youth in Biafra land. Ask ourselves, where did we go wrong from where our forefathers stopped? These politicians you see in Nigeria today or in Biafra land, we can use them to make a reference in what we are about to do or what we need to get done in our nation. It's not much to say, just to tell people it's time for us to brace up and face the reality. We don't need to look up to the politicians in our land to know that we have a special day to remember our foreign heroes, which is today, 30th May. And if you don't know it, the day something will happens to you, nobody will stand up to remember you. This is it for me. I thank you for this opportunity to congregate and bring our people to the speed of what needs to be done to recognize our nation Biafra and people that die for us to live. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much, Badike, for that submission. Then finally to the Biafra Chancellor, the Chancellor for the Facto Customary Government of Biafran people, Mazi Udowere, as we'll be wrapping up from there.
Thank you once again for that opportunity. I would like to say that the history has been made, and today, the 30th May, is a sacrifice. There is non-negotiation on this issue. Those who want to play down on it can continue to live in the past. For us who are here, we know that there is no going back in the Remembrance Day of 30th every May. If the governors let them do the right thing, save their shame, like my brother here, they should save that shame and just, whether they like it or not, just to declare it public holidays and save life, because I know quite very well that our enemies might also be behind the so-called non-government attack, just to create a scene, a situation that does not exist. There is possibility of that. We can't deny that.
I agree with you, sir.
But at the same time, our people must be very wise and knowing full well what we are playing now is a game of mind. It's no longer the era of 1967. We should know better by now and play safe in everything we do. Once again, I would like to say, fellow Biafrans and all of us of freedom worldwide who celebrated and remember this day, kudos to you. And may we come together to channel the future of our people in a more positive manner. Thank you so much. I'll stand by.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you so much for your availability and also your sacrifice towards the Biafran people's service for their self-determination. I sincerely appreciate you, gentlemen, for your contribution, for your support, for your encouragement, and for your work for your people, so that they will have and find the right path to the right to self-determination. From there, I am saying thank you, gentlemen. I'll be letting you guys go now. All right, that is it. And from the principal officers of Biafra de facto customary government, as we are wrapping it up today, we've heard from the Biafran veterans as they shared their story. You can help us to share this video to so many people so that they will have a direct feel of experience what these veterans went through. And from the informations we've heard from the parliament discussion tonight, they have really touched very important places everyone needs to know about. And that's why it's important, if you have watched this far, please help us share it as far as possible. I still remain Associated Peters, the voice of the people and the advocate for good governance. And on this, I'm signing out saying, may you stay blessed, stay safe at all times. Happy Biafra Remembrance Day.
On this day, 30th May 1967, Biafra was declared a free state from Nigeria. At this time in our history as a people, a dark cloud covered the land of the rising sun. A war of attrition and genocide was brought upon us. Men, women, and children gave their lives to defend our land. Today we remember their sacrifice. Today we lit candle lights to uphold the light of our freedom, because nothing can stop the movement of the people determined to be free.
This message is proudly endorsed by de facto customary government of Biafra.